Welcome to Moving Forward, sponsored by MPW Mocklink TV and Mocklink Internet, online at mpw.org. Each weekday morning, our local talk segment brings you the people who are helping move our community forward. Let's start the show.
Good morning, AM 860, FM 95.1, KWPC. I'm Jordan Davis. Thanks for joining us here for Moving Forward this morning on this Wednesday, June 20th. We're glad to be here with you. And just a reminder from Muscatine Power and Water, thank you very much for sponsoring the show. And say hello to Mocklink Phone, your new local phone company. Fiber customers get it now. Switching is easy, and you can keep your old number. Learn more at mpw.org. Once again, I'm Jordan Davis. This is Moving Forward, and joining me here in the studio this morning, Dave Bakke, a naturalist and a park ranger for the Muscatine County Conservation Board. How are you this morning, Dave?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're really glad to have you in. We're excited to talk a little bit about what the Muscatine County Conservation Board is doing here in the Muscatine County and all the different things that are happening over, especially now that we're in park season. It seems like this is really the time to be getting out and enjoying the nature here in Muscatine. So I'll let you kick it off. I know that some new things are coming to Deep Lakes. Let's talk about those.
Yeah, and a little bit of its development. We've been talking for several years since we acquired that property about getting campground and cabins and things like that down there. The campground itself is probably still several years off. There's going to be more cost to that. So, but we're still leaning that direction eventually. But we are going to be getting camping cabins, and those are definitely a go. Those were part of the CAT grant that the city and county received a year ago. And so we're in the planning stages now. Looking like it'll be late this fall or possibly early next year before those are installed. We're hoping to have them up and ready to go for next season.
Oh, all right.
And so that'll be a nice addition for those who, if they're just if you have relatives coming from town, it might be a nice place to put them up if, rather than just a regular hotel or motel in town. But even for people who just want to get away from around here, you can go down there. You would have the cabins, but there's boating, there's fishing down there, all kinds of activities going on.
That does sound like a lot of fun. And the cabins, how many cabins were there going to be built?
We're going to have 4 cabins.
4 cabins.
And I think 2 of them are going to be sleeping like up to 6 people, and we'll have at least one that will sleep up to 8 people.
Wow.
So, and they'll be pretty nice cabins. They're similar to a design that they have over at some of the Scott County parks over there. There's kind of a modular home, but we can have some say on the design on it and lay it out the way we want it laid out. So,
okay.
I think people will really enjoy those. So
Absolutely. I mean, it's great to have a place to escape to that you don't have to drive miles and miles and miles for. You're going to be able to go find a great cabin and enjoy nature right here in Muscatine County. Why not?
Yep, and those cabins will be right near the trail that runs through Discovery Park. We've got that paved trail that was part of the Muscatine bike trail system that runs from, right now it's going from Kentstein Park and runs down to the newest section, runs down to and ends in Deep Lakes Park. So that's a great option too. If somebody likes biking, while they're staying there, they can just hop on the trail and ride back and all over Muscatine.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really good time. Now, also, Deep Lakes, there's going to be new canoes as well coming our way.
Yeah, we're going to be borrowing a couple of canoes from Clinton County. They purchased them with a grant, and part of their grant proposal was that they would offer those to other county conservation boards to use at no charge. So we just have to go and get them. But there are 2 of them, and they're 29-foot. They're called Voyager canoes, and they're replicas of the canoes that would have been used in North America, particularly in Canada, roughly 300 years ago by those earliest explorers and the fur traders. And they were working canoes. Sometimes they were kind of called the barges of the North Country. But it typically takes anywhere from 8 to 10 people to paddle them.
Wow.
With one person in the back doing the steering and kind of a not quite sitting down seat. It's a higher seat. And they're big canoes. They weigh about 300 pounds. So it's not the easiest thing to paddle. It takes some work. So when we get those, it's gonna be July 18th. It'll be a Wednesday. We'll have those through the following Tuesday. And so we're gonna have a number of public hours when those are available. People can just stop out, and we're encouraging people to bring a group of friends. If you plan a sports team, if you want a chance to get your team away, you can come out one of those nights and bring everybody, and we'll set you up to paddle. If you don't have a group or organization where you can put together a group of people, just come on out, and we'll put random people together, and you can meet new people while you're trying to figure out how to move this big canoe around.
Yeah, that sounds like it could be a challenge making that thing shift through the water.
It is a little bit. The first time I tried it, I was with people who've paddled quite a bit, so we took onto it maybe a little quicker, but it's just a matter of learning quickly to work together with your paddle stroking because you're sitting pretty close together. And then just thinking ahead when it comes to turning. It's not like kayaks or the smaller canoes most people are familiar with. It takes some space.
Yeah. You need a little bit of clearance to get turned.
Yep. But they are fun, and I hope people have fun with them. We'll have evening hours when people can just show up, or if they want to call and say we're going to bring a team down or a group down at this time, we can arrange for that. We'll have two canoes. So we can alternate, or if they want to get out there and race against somebody else, they're welcome to do that too.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and on that weekend, on the Sunday of that weekend, and I'm thinking quickly, I think it's the 21st, we're going to have one of our canoeing kayaking tryouts. So we'll have our other canoes and kayaks down at Deep Lakes, as well as these two large canoes. So people can come down if they want to just try paddling, if they've never been in a kayak before, or just want to get out and float around in a canoe, they can just borrow those at no charge, and off they go. So, and this will be at the main parking lot on Pettibone Avenue that all this will be going on. So,
okay.
Yep. And I think Ryan talked before about that we have canoes and kayaks available for rental down there on an hourly basis now, the second and fourth weekends of each month.
That seems like a great way to be able to just get out and enjoy those lakes, especially because there's nothing better than being out floating on the water, even on a hot day.
Yep. And I found with kayaks, if you're paddling right, you're keeping your paddles pretty straight up and down to help you go straight. You also drip on yourself when you're doing that, so it helps to cool you off a little bit there. So I don't mind that.
Yeah. That does sound like a lot of fun, and we're really glad that we're able to have something like that, and it's thanks to the Muscatine County Conservation Board that we're able to have these parks that are upkept, and that you guys do your best to keep everything. I'm sure do you guys stock the lakes out there every now and then?
They have been stocked with catfish, some of them, and then also with muskie.
Wow.
And so the muskie we've stocked for the last 3 years, and people are catching some 30 inches.
Wow.
And larger, and so
that's cool.
The minimum length for muskies in the state of Iowa is 40 inches. So they've got a little ways to go, but it's still fun to catch a 24 or 30 inch fish like that.
There's nothing like feeling when you're fishing, and I miss it because I haven't gotten to go fishing nearly as much as I used to when I was younger. But when you feel that hit from a fish on the end of the there's nothing better than that.
Yep, it is fun. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So absolutely, that should get fishermen excited hearing that they're stocked and that there's fish out there to be caught.
Oh yeah, and the bluegill fishing is still good. This time of year it gets a little tougher, but people keep at it, especially if they have a boat and can get out on the water. It makes it a little easier to get over some of the structures that we've put into the lakes to draw the fish in. So, yeah, and we also, we do our trout stocking at Discovery Park twice a year still, and it's been a while since anybody's caught a trout here this season now. Most of them have gone pretty deep in the lake. But we'll be doing that again this fall, and we'll get the word out on the dates for that. Typically later in October.
Okay.
When they stock those in there, that's always a lot of fun too.
I think I remember Michelle talking about that. One of the Discovery one getting stocked a while back. I think I remember that.
End of March.
End of March. Okay, that's when it was. Gosh, that feels like forever ago.
It does. It does. The summer's going really quickly.
It is. It is moving right along. So what else is going on with Muscatine County Conservation? What more do we need to know?
Well, a couple things. Our campground was closed last weekend due to flooding on the Cedar River, but we're starting to get the word out, and we'll put it on our website and Facebook page. But it will be open again this weekend.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to get to mow in it because the weather keeps raining and staying wet, but it'll be open, and people will be able to get out there and enjoy some camping and access to the Cedar River again for fishing. Okay. And then finally, we've got, with our summer nature camps, they've started already, but we still have some openings for some of those. So if people want to check out specific programs that are still open, our website has that information, and that's just Muscatine County Conservation.com. And they should be able to find a link for that right on the homepage there. And then we have a family program going on this weekend, Saturday afternoon. It's one of our weekends for doing the canoe rentals but at Deep Lakes Park. But at Discovery Park at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, we're going to have an archery program for families. And it's for
fun.
people who maybe have never tried archery, but they want to give it a whirl. And adults can shoot, and kids down to 8 years of age, or 8 years of age and older, would be able to use the equipment we have. So they could just stop by, and they can have fun with some archery. We'll have things set up there. And like I say, it starts at 2 o'clock, no charge.
Now, are we working with long bows or compound bows, or what kind of bows are you working with?
These are compound bows,
okay.
and they're a smaller version. They're meant to be learning bows. So
Gotcha.
if you're familiar with bow shooting, they're typically set at about 15 pounds draw weight, where, for instance, if you're hunting, you might be starting at 35 or 40 pounds and going up from there. So they're easier to draw, and I guess for people who are just learning, it's just easier to get down and learn your techniques when you're not having to struggle with holding the bow back.
Absolutely.
So.
And I've always enjoyed. I've been to like several hunter safety courses and stuff like that, and watch people who hadn't shot a bow before. You want to be careful when you're holding your bow, because if you let that drawstring come back on your arm right along the inner side of the arm,
it can hurt. And we've got some tips for people on that.
You guys have arm guards?
We do not use arm guards, and we have a few people. Sometimes it's an individual thing. It's just the way people's arms are built and such. But you can rotate your arm, and a lot of people, if you hold your arm out straight in front of you and somebody holds your hand, you can still rotate your elbow. For some people, it's just a matter of consciously doing that right before they release the string.
Right.
And if you forget to, you're like you found out there, you're quickly
You'll learn
reminded
quick.
of that. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun, and like it's low key. Safety's always first on that, even though we've got these smaller bows we're using. And so that's part of it too, is getting people started off with making sure they're being safe with any type of shooting that they're doing.
Absolutely. And bow shooting is really cool. I mean, folks that get into archery that are really into it, it's a really cool sport, and there is a lot to it, and people can really dive in. There's a lot to dive in with archery.
There is. There are all different kinds of bows and different accoutrements that you can have on your bows to help you with sighting and aim and all those things. And it's not only an Olympic sport. It's considered a club sport in Iowa, but they have state tournament for school groups that put together archery teams. This last spring, they had their state tournament. They had 1,900 participants.
Wow.
From across the state. And they take a whole weekend in Des Moines, and they shoot, and everybody's shooting. It seems like a short distance, but it's still a challenge. Like 6 or 7 yards, but everybody's shooting the same arrows at the same targets, and it's stiff competition, because it's not just hitting in the yellow in the middle. It's trying to get close to that dead center, of course. So there's some really amazing shooters out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen some amazing people, and I really enjoy getting to be in and seeing people get involved in like these more outdoor related sports. I say outdoor, I mean most sports are played outdoors, but you know what I mean, like like hunting, like archery, and I was a trap shooter, so I competed in that kind of stuff. That kind of thing, with where you're working with something like a bow or a shotgun or things like that. You have to be very careful. It's you have to be very strict in your sport, and you need to be but it's an interesting. You learn a regiment. You get used to doing one thing. You get that muscle memory, and it feels really good when you hit your target, or you smash a clay or something like that.
Yep. And Iowa's got shooting as its overall shooting sports program for high schools. There are high school trap shooting teams, and you're right, it's not that different from other sports. There are certain techniques and ways, and we encourage that with our bow shooting. There are ways to shoot that make it easier for you, and if you just have to train yourself. And I've told kids it's not that different from shooting free throws. You step to the line and you just shoot, and you figure out your routine. And it's the same thing with shooting a bow. Different actions, but you figure out how you're going to stand, how you're going to aim, how you're going to hold the bow, then you try to do it the same way every time you shoot.
That old saying, "Practice make perfect." It's
it
true.
Does. Yep. Sports are sports, and it's all, like you said, it's all about muscle memory and just practice.
Well, that's a lot of fun. Anything else that you really think people ought to know about what's going on with Muscatine Conservation?
But we're always willing and eager to hear comments from people, good or not good. If they have thoughts about what's going on and want to see something different, we'll try to incorporate things that people have coming up. I guess one other development thing that just popped to my mind, and we talk about it all the time, but later this past winter, the County Board of Supervisors turned management of another piece of ground over to the Conservation Board. And it's the ground that adjoins Discovery Park. It's actually the site of the old county home, and that facility was torn down. People see the barn when they come into the park, and that is part of that ground. And so there are about 15 acres that were turned over to us.
Is that the old farm, the old barn?
Yep, the old barn there.
I gotcha.
Yep,
okay.
And so the Conservation Board has management of that area. The Friends of the Barn are still there. They're taking care of the barn and holding monthly programs, and we can get you dates on those. You'd have to call our office on those. We need to get those on our website.
Okay.
But things coming up over there, the supervisors are assisting us with things like repaving the loop road around there and a parking lot out front. It's been there for many years, and it needs to be redone. So they're going to help with that. They're going to be building a bathroom over there, like a real flush toilet bathroom, not an outdoor portable bathroom or anything like that. And then we're going to be putting in a large shelter house in that area, and eventually a playground over in that spot. And there's a lot of houses over in that area on that side of the park. And I know they have Fuller Park right across the street, but this seems to us to be more like a neighborhood park, though people from all over town can come to visit it and use it. And we think it'll be a nice area. The picnic shelter may not go in yet this year. But it should be in next year, but the roads will be done this year, and as part of that, we're going to have a little connector into Discovery Park. So if you pull into Discovery Park, you can drive around and access that area, or you would be able to just go in off Harmony Lane, off of Hauser Street, to also access that area. And it's right next to the Arboretum, so it'll be a nice addition overall. It kind of finishes off that little chunk of ground over there that's all owned by the Board of Supervisors, and we do our best to take care of it.
That's great. Well, Dave, thanks so much for coming in and sharing with us this morning. Really appreciate you stopping by.
You're very welcome.
I hate cutting it short, but we're running just a little bit over time here this morning.
Sometimes
but we really appreciate you coming in and telling us all the things that Muscatine County Conservation Board is doing, because there's some great things happening. There's great programs, and the parks are looking good.
Yep, thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dave. Once again, Dave Bakke, a naturalist and a park ranger for the Muscatine County Conservation Board, joining us here in the studio this morning for Moving Forward. One more time, thanks to MPW. MockLink Internet and TV are the best value in entertainment and connectivity, and getting better with world-class fiber. Subscribe now, and you'll get fiber when it comes to your neighborhood. Learn more at mpw.org. This has been Moving Forward. I'm Jordan Davis here on thevoiceofmuscatine.com.
You've been listening to Moving Forward on the Voice of Muscatine, KWPC, AM 860, FM 95.1. Thanks to our sponsor, MPW Digital TV and MockLink Internet, the local providers, at mpw.org. And remember, Moving Forward, each weekday at 8:15 to learn how Muscatine is on the move.